What's up guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I got the idea to make this video from the Condé Nast Traveler channel. I was watching their videos the other day and I saw one of the videos and I was like, hell, I've got to make that video because I can relate to it so much. So what I decided to do was, I'm just going to throw up a whole lot of pictures from all my layovers, only as Emirates Cabin Crew, nothing of my personal travel, but only as Emirates Cabin Crew. I'm going to throw up some pictures and then I'm going to talk about my favorite memories, or my first memories should I say, of that specific layover. I'm actually using this as hopefully in more inspiration for you guys to actually want to be Emirates Cabin Crew and see what I've done on my layovers, and hopefully it'll make you want to be a cabin crew even more than you already do. Rio de Janeiro was my first time in Brazil, as well as my first time in a helicopter. We went around this Christ the Redeemer statue. Absolutely awesome. Dallas was the first time I've ever been to the US, and we decided to go for a rodeo, so it was pretty cool because we got to see cowboys. Best part though was that John Legend was performing at that center that same evening, so we got to watch John Legend. $21 US. The next day we went to Franklin's Barbecue in Austin, so we just had to drive to Austin. I think it was like a 2-hour drive. Best barbecue food in the world. Hong Kong is renowned for its nightlife and its street food, but I remember my most memorable time was when we went to this big bronze Buddha. I remember in the morning it was raining and the weather was so bad and you couldn't see anything, but by the time we got there, we cleared up and then we just looked from the bottom of the stairs and you see this Buddha. Oh man. We actually followed that up by going to Macau the next day. That was the Vegas of Asia. Boat party in Mauritius, what more can you ask for? And Priya came with. Los Angeles, we hired a car and I remember going to the Hollywood sign and I was like, whoa, I've seen this on TV. It's really just as big as you would think it is. And then we went to the Hollywood Walk of Fame as well, seeing all the stars. Nice. New York. Guys, what can I say about New York? You know it's my favorite place on earth. I've been there like 100 times. I remember the first time going to New York, we went to Times Square and I just stood there with this huge smile on my face, looking around, taking in this absolutely surreal environment. And you know, I tell this to everybody, no matter how many pictures or videos you take of what's actually going on around you, you can never capture it. Absolutely something I'll never forget. Phuket, my favorite memory was with Priya actually going to PP Islands. Absolutely stunning views. Seychelles, another boat party, but what was even better was snorkeling for the first time. Saw the most amazing things. I was kind of scared because I was like in the middle of the ocean, but I overcame that. Pretty cool. Munich, Allianz Arena, need I say more. St. Petersburg, went in summer, absolutely beautiful castles and churches. Boston, felt quite smart, didn't fit in. Colombo, spicy ass food and chilling with elephants. San Francisco, I remember taking that last corner and seeing the Golden Gate Bridge and I was like, damn, with the clouds over, beautiful. Also reminds me a lot of one of my favorite movies, The Rock. Washington DC, most memorable, going to the White House and remembering how underwhelmed I was. Very small, what they put on TV, what you see in the movies, nah, not me. You're not gonna try and gut me, nah. Houston, that was my first ever basketball game. Houston Rockets versus Dallas Mavericks. Guys, if you've never watched a basketball game live, trust me, do yourself a favor. If you ever go to the US, go and watch a basketball game. From the start to the end, non-stop action, something always is happening. I love it, I love it, I love it. Every time I go to the US, I'll always try to go to watch basketball. Manchester, who cares? Went straight to Liverpool, went to Anfield. Venice, canals, canals, canals. Absolutely breathtaking. Sydney, g'day mate, how you going? Sydney Opera House, not as white as I thought it was going to be. Athens, we went and saw the ruins and went and saw Acropolis. Pretty cool. Remember in history and we were learning about all the Athenians and stuff? I saw all that. Bangkok, where do I start? I saw the elephant on the road, pad pong, lady boys, food, nightlife. Bangkok. Beijing, Great Wall of China. I remember how cold it was that day. Nothing was going to stop me though. I braved the cold and we went anyway. It was great. You could just walk and walk and walk, and it was just wall after wall after wall. London, I mean I saw a million things in London, but my favorite has to be going to the Emirates Stadium. Come on Arsenal! Brisbane, this was my first time seeing a kangaroo. I actually thought they were all very aggressive, but you could actually pet them. Probably wouldn't do it again, but kangaroos. Melbourne, guys, this was definitely something that I had to tick off my bucket list. MCG, I went for a Boxing Day test match there, South Africa and Australia, and South Africa won. By far one of the most amazing things I've done in my 12 years. I will never forget that day. It was just wow. Glasgow, Emirates actually hadn't started flying to Edinburgh yet, so what we decided to do was take a train and go to Edinburgh. So seeing all the castles, pretty cool. Madrid, Santiago Bernabeu, of course. We managed to watch a game. Madrid lost 1-0 to Sporting Gijon, I think it's pronounced. Jose Mourinho was the coach at Madrid at the time, so you know it was quite a while ago. It was actually my first ever live football game that I went to. Cape Town, what more can I say guys? I got married in Cape Town, that's how much we love it. I had an amazing time in Cape Town with Priya. Actually, we went on a layover, we went up to Table Mountain, and then we hiked the next day up Lion's Head. Fantastic views. KL, besides going to the Petronas Towers, which is the obvious site, I went to Batu Caves, looking at those stairs that were painted all those different colors and going up into the temples and stuff. Pretty cool. Taipei, managed to go to see Taipei 101, the building. Used to be one of the tallest buildings in the world. It was pretty cool. What I think made me love, don't laugh, but what made me love Taipei the most was actually the room that we got in the hotel that Emirates put us up in. Leon, we hired a car and we drove about an hour to go to Annecy. First stop we made was to go to Lake Annecy, and it was just, the lake was just so quiet, not many people around, with the mountains in the background, Switzerland, still some snow on the mountains. Wow, breathtaking. Copenhagen, my favorite thing was going to Nijhaven. It was like by the canals, and all these houses that are different colors reminded me so much of Cape Town. Pretty nice to look at. Santiago, we took a bus all the way to Valparaiso, another city outside of Santiago in Chile, and the city was well known for all its graffiti and wall art. But what astonished me the most was the amount of stray dogs that they have. But these dogs weren't just regular pavement specials as we call them back home. These dogs were in such good condition, like so well looked after, groomed. I don't know who's taking care of these dogs. They would just follow you, super friendly. They just wanted to be petted. It was weird, but so cool. Singapore was actually one of my first times to Asia. I was very surprised just because I didn't know as to how modern the city was and how clean everything is. Luanda, this was one of my layovers where my jaw kind of just dropped. We hired a guy to take us around Luanda and he took us to this ship graveyard, and I remember coming up to it and seeing all these abandoned ships on the shoreline, and I was just like, why? What are these ships doing here? Why? When? How? It was just so confusing. It was absolutely beautiful. We managed to go into one of the ships, like into one of the abandoned ships, and just look at it, and it was just like scary, don't get me wrong, but it was just, yeah, something that I would never forget. Yangon in Myanmar, Buddhist temples, Buddhist temples, Buddhist temples. Paris, City of Love. Managed to go there for my 1-year wedding anniversary with Priya, so that was pretty cool. The best part about Paris is you can just walk and walk and walk. Coffees, macaroons, pastries, life. Birmingham, thought about Aston Villa, but I was like, nah. So instead I went to William Shakespeare's house. Accra in Ghana, I was actually looking for Michael Essien, but no such luck. We went to this forest where they had these long, tall trees and connecting the trees with these bridges. And I remember just being so scared crossing from one bridge to one side to the other on this bridge. And there were these kids that were young, those school kids that were trying to be funny, and they were shaking the bridge and trying to scream and make people scared. I was scared. I was not laughing. Everybody else was, but I was like, this is why I don't want to have kids. Fort Lauderdale. So the plan was to go to Miami because it was actually spring break, which we did, and it was like, it was an eye-opener. So if you ever need to go on spring break, go to Miami. But what I actually was more memorable was going to the Everglades and seeing the alligators. It was so cool. I felt like, you know in CSI, when CSI Miami, when the guys are driving in the boats and then with the alligators and the Everglades, and I was like, what? This is like I'm on TV. Okay guys, so that's pretty much a wrap. So like I said, these are only clips from actual layovers that I've done with Emirates or trips that I've done with Emirates. Unfortunately, there's a lot more other layovers that I have done, but I just don't have any pictures and I just didn't want to start talking and making this more boring than it probably really is or isn't. I hope it has been entertaining. I hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure you give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.